जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन जय गोपी जन संकीर्तन की, शील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरये।
ततो जयमुदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भक्तेर्भवति नैष्टिके।
भवति नैष्टिकी।
We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 26. The King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt. Text 4. चचार मृगयां तत्र
चचारमृगयां तत्र
दृप्त आतेषु कर्मुकः
दृप्त आसेषु कामुकः
विहाय जयाम् अतद् अर्हां
विहाय जयामतर्हां
मृगाव्यासन लालसः
मृगव्यासनलालसः
चचार मृगयां तत्र
चचारमृगयां तत्र
दृप्त आतेषु कर्मुकः
दृप्त आसेषु कामुकः
विहाय जयाम् अतद् अर्हां
विहाय जयामतर्हां
मृगाव्यसन लालसः
मृगव्यासनलालसः
चचार मृगयां तत्र
चचारमृगयां तत्र
दृप्त आतेषु कर्मुकः
दृप्त आतेषु कामुकः
विहाय जयाम् अतद् अर्हां
विहाय जायमतर्हां
मृगाव्यसन लालसः
मृगव्यसनलालसः चचारमृगयां तत्र
चचारमृगयां तत्र
दृप्त आतेषु कर्मुकः
दृप्त आतेषु कामुकः
विहाय जायम् अतर्हां
विहाय जायाम् अतर्हां
मृगव्यसनलालसः
मृगव्यसनलालसः
चचारमृगयां तत्र
चचारमृगयां तत्र
दृप्त आतेषु कार्मुकः
दृप्त आतेषु कामुकः
विहाय जायाम् अतर्हां
विहाय जायाम् अतर्हां
मृगव्यसनलालसः
मृगव्यसनलालसः
चचारमृगयां तत्र
चचारमृगयां तत्र
दृप्त आतेषु कामुकः
दृप्त आतेषु कामुकः
विहाय जायम् अतर्हां
विहाय जायामतर्हां
मृगव्यसनलालसः
मृगव्यसनलालसः
चचारमृगयां तत्र
चचारमृगयां तत्र
दृप्त आतेषु कार्मुकः
दृप्त आतेषु कामुकः
विहाय जायाम् अतर्हां
विहाय जायाम् अतर्हां
मृगव्यसनलालसः
मृगव्यसनलालसः चचारमृगयां तत्र
चचारमृगयां तत्र
आतेषु कामुकः
दृप्त आतेषु कामुकः
विहाय जायामतर्हां
विहाय जायाम् अतर्हां
मृगव्यसनलालसः
मृगव्यसनलालसः
Word to word meaning. Chachara,
चचार
executed.
executed
Mrugayam,
मृगयां
hunting.
hunting
Tatra,
तत्र
there.
there
Druptaha,
दृप्तः
being proud.
being proud
Ata,
Ata
having taken.
having taken
Issue,
issue
arrows.
arrows
Karmukaha,
Karmukaha,
bow,
bow,
Vihaya,
Vihaya,
giving up,
giving up,
Jayam,
Jayam,
his wife,
his wife,
Atat Arham,
Atat Arha,
although impossible,
although impossible,
Mruga,
Mriga,
hunting,
hunting,
Vyasana,
Yasana,
evil activities,
evil activities,
Lalasaha,
Lalasaha,
being inspired by.
being inspired by.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. It was almost impossible for King Puranjana to give up the company of his queen even for a moment. Nonetheless, on the day, being very much inspired by the desires to hunt, he took up his bow and arrow with great pride and went to the forest, not caring for his wife. Purport. One form of hunting is known as woman hunting. A conditioned soul is never satisfied with one wife. Those whose senses are very much uncontrolled especially try to hunt for many women. King Puranjana's abandoning the company of his religiously married wife is representative of a conditioned soul's attempt to hunt for many women for sense gratification. Wherever a king goes, he is supposed to be accompanied by his queen. But when the king or conditioned soul becomes greatly overpowered by the desires for sense gratification, he does not care for religious principles. Instead, with great pride, he accepts the bow and arrow of attachment and hatred. Our consciousness is always working in two ways, the right way and the wrong way. When one becomes too proud of his position, influenced by the mode of passion, he gives up the right path and accepts the wrong one. Kshatriya kings are sometimes advised to go to the forest to hunt ferocious animals just to learn how to kill. But such forays are never meant for sense gratification. Killing animals to eat their flesh is forbidden for human beings. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamavyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sahavadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Stute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubrascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangam Nangayate Girim Yat Krupatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. Translation. It was almost impossible for King Puranjana to give up the company of his queen even for a moment. Nonetheless, on that day, being very much inspired by the desire to hunt, he took up his bow and arrow with great pride and went to the forest, not caring for his wife. So here, Narad Muni was describing an analogical story to King Prachinavarishad, the story of King Puranjana. And in today's discussion, we have seen in the translation that how King Puranjana was left his wife and went to the forest for hunting. Where in the previous verses we have seen how King Puranjana was like even he was not giving up a moment of his wife association. He was he was all the time with the wife, with the queen. We have seen previous slokas where it describes King Puranjana used to eat when his wife used to eat. King Puranjana used to sleep when his wife used to do it. He used to walk when she used to walk. And in this way, we have seen each and every activity what Puranjana was doing, it was just following the queen. In that situation where Puranjana was not able to give even a one moment of association of his wife, now he decided to give up the company of his queen and decided to go to forest for hunting, because he got a desire to hunt, to do hunting, and he took up his great bow and arrow with a great pride. He went to the forest. We have seen in the previous chapter, Narad Muni clearly explains how Puranjana was for fulfilling his sense gratification, he married a queen, Puranjani, and he had all kinds of sense gratification with her. But now in this translation or in this sloka, it clearly describes that still he is not satisfied with the sense gratification what he got from the queen. Now he is desiring to gratify his senses outside the queen. That's what Prabhupada clearly mentions in the purport, that one form of hunting is known as woman hunting. A conditioned soul is never satisfied with one wife. That's what we are seeing here. King Puranjana was not satisfied with the wife, and now he wanted to gratify his senses through hunting. And Prabhupada here mentions, we don't know whether Puranjana is going for hunting, for woman hunting or no, for animal hunting. That is further slokas will come to know. But in the purport, Prabhupada especially says or highlighting about woman hunting. A conditioned souls who are never satisfied by one wife, they generally go out and associate with other women for sense gratification, to satisfy his senses. So those people are called woman hunting. So King Puranjana abandons the company of his religiously married wife, and just to gratify his senses, he trying to go or attempt going out for hunting. So here Prabhupada says, wherever king goes, the queen should be there all the time. Even in the, not only for the king, even for the wife and husband, wherever a wife should not go alone and a husband should not go alone, they should be all the time together. That's what Prabhupada mentioning, that all the time king should be accompanied with the queen. She should be assisting the king. Queen should assisting the king. all the time. But here, because of his desire, Prabhupada says a conditioned soul becomes greatly overpowered by the desire for sense gratification, then he leaves the association of the wife and thinking that he wants to enjoy with others. This is a kind of what we call in a married life. They have taken a vow that they be together all the time, either in the good, bad, either in the happiness or sad, whatever situation comes, they should be together. That's what they do a promise, and they circumambulate the fire 7 times, thinking that we both together for even for the 7 lives, 7 lifetimes. Because they do 7 circumambulation to fire, 7 rounds they do. Because if both wife and husband are chased together, we have seen in the previous slokas, like it's recommended for a grahastha to be grahastha for the whole life till his last breath, where if both wife and husband are chased together and able to practice Krishna consciousness and able to give up the attachments of the family. In that situation, it is recommended to be a grahastha for the whole life. And for that means, like, even in the after giving up this life, in the next life also, if he both can come as a together and stay as a wife and husband again with the Lord's mercy, because they are able to carry their order, like the human order, or the goal of the human being is to be Krishna conscious. If they are able to do it, then it's not a wrong to be together and do it. So only like for a devotee grahasthas, it is recommended to be a Krishna centered, not self-centered. So all the time the husband should work, earn money to engage the family in Krishna conscious activities, and wife and children should support the husband and be favorable to execute the Krishna conscious activities. And especially it is said a wife should be Krishna conscious. If she is Krishna consciousness, whole family can be Krishna consciousness automatically, because wife is the one who take care of the whole family very nicely. And if she is Krishna consciousness, and wherever she goes, she gives that consciousness to everyone, even to the children, even to the husband, even to anyone who visits their home. So everyone will get that kind of Krishna conscious. But ideally, if you see, a grahastha means like both wife, husband should be engaged in Krishna conscious activity, or else it is called grahamedhi. It is not called as grahastha. Grahamedhi it is called, because they are self-centered. They treat a wife, a husband will treat a wife as a what do you call a object of sense gratification, and a husband or a wife will think husband as an object of sense gratification, and both will never get satisfied. They will never get satisfied, because they always think, Grahamedis, they always think, what should I get from her? How much I can get? Even though she is so loyal and try to satisfy the husband's senses, but still he will be not satisfied, because he is not Krishna centered. He is always thinking about his pleasure, not for the Krishna's pleasure. Every act what he does for his own pleasure. We know this material world is called Dukkhalayam, and foolishly people, they think that they will get happiness from my spouse, and even though she is ready to satisfy her husband all the times, but still, because this place is called Dukkhalayam, they will be not satisfied. All the time they will be like, the end will be all the time misery. This is what how this world is functioning, and this is the purpose. There is a purpose also behind this, why this place has been called as Dukkhalayam by the Shastras or by the Krishna, because so that we can learn that there is no permanent happiness in this world. We have been like running for the happiness and end up with the misery. So we try our best that in this way I may get happiness. Let me try this way, and we fail, ending up with misery. And same for the happiness, again one more approach we do. So again we fail, we end up with misery. So this kind of the way where we are ending up all the time with the misery is kind of lesson for us to know that this is the place where we can't get the real happiness. But as soon as when we take Krishna consciousness, we were discussing 2.48 sloka last Wednesday. In that it is clearly said, even a 1% of act that we do in the Krishna consciousness will give a lot of pleasure. In the purport, Prabhupada says, and in the purport, Prabhupada also quotes the story of Ajamila, where he in his whole life he was not doing Krishna conscious activity, but he did little when he was young, when he was under the care of his father, before he saw the man and Vaishya meeting together in the forest. Until there he was doing Krishna conscious activity. At the end of the life, because of little percentage what he did Krishna conscious activity, he was being saved, and he has been given a second chance. And he realized that what fault he has done when there was a conversation between the Yamadutas and Vitrudutas were going on. Then he realized that he did a very big mistake. So now he got a second chance. In his second chance, when he was all the time Krishna conscious, going all around to the pilgrims places and nicely serving his parents and taking care of family and executing Krishna conscious activities, worshipping Krishna and everything. So in this way he got second chance and he was successful. So when we put full efforts to satisfy ourselves, we will fail all the time. But even a small effort which we put to please Krishna, even though we will get higher satisfaction. Even though we are not fully successful in doing that act, but still little percentage what we did, we will get lot of immense pleasure. So the Prabhupada also says here, indeed with a great pride he accepts the bow and arrow of attachment and hatred. He was attached to his wife. Now he is attached to some other things. Giving up means developing some kind of hatred. So our consciousness is always working in two ways. That is, one is right way and wrong way. When one is very proud, they give up the right way and goes in the wrong way. And what happens when someone goes in the wrong way? There will be a chance of having an accident. Not a chance, 100% accident. And by mistake, if police is being caught, then there will be like punished, or they will be fined, they will be charged. So when we are proud, so there comes like chance of going in a wrong way. In this connection, we can see when King Pandu, not King Pandu, Dasharath, Lord Ram's father, right? Well, he was so expert in hunting, even in the night, by closing his eyes, he used to shoot arrows. He used to do hunting in that way. So what happens? He was so expert in that, he got little proud. But now he can do hunting, or he can fight, in the darkness also, in the dark. So what happens when he was proud? So they crosses little boundaries, limits, and in that way, so he got being cursed by one sage, saying that because of his proud. So here also, King Puranjana was proud of being a king, and he was just thinking about to gratify his desires, fulfill his desires. So he was taking the wrong step. That's what Prabhupada says. So he is going into a wrong way, wrong one. And it is recommended that for a Kshatriya to go to the forest and to hunt ferocious animals. If you see, in the forest, there are so many great sages who build their ashrams, and they used to perform their daily activities, sacrifices, yajna sacrifices there. And whenever they have some problems in the executing yajna sacrifices with these ferocious animals, they used to complain to the king. And king, to protect these sages from these ferocious animals, they come to the forest for hunting. Not to hunt innocent animals like deer or rabbits or some other things, but they used to hunt ferocious animals. These innocent animals which are there, they are human friendly. They don't cause any harm to the human beings. Like especially if you see in Tirupati, when we are going by stairs, by walk, when we are climbing, on the way you can find so many deers, so many very, very beautiful deers. And when you offer food, they come very close to you, and they don't do any harm, even though they have big horns, and they look little, there are so many big deer with big horns, and they look very fearful. But when you are providing some food and to them, they are very friendly to us. Even though we used to touch them, they don't feel. And without any food, if you don't just try to touch them, then they just run away, or they just chase you. So those kinds of human friendly animals are not supposed to be hunted by the kings. So but until if sages are being tortured by these ferocious animals, then only the kings used to go to the forest and have to chase them and try to hunt them, so that the sages can peacefully do their sacrifices. In this context, we can see Lord Ram and Lakshmana being taken away to the forest because there are a lot of disturbances by the demons and ferocious animals, so that these two can Lord Ram and Lakshman can protect, look after these demons when sages are performing sacrifices. And we see like Parikshit Maharaj, when he went for hunting, he felt very thirsty, and because of his having a thirst, he went to ashram. Who is that sage? Shamik Rishi. Shamik Rishi's ashram. And when he went to the ashram, Shamik Rishi was in a meditation. He didn't notice Parikshit Maharaj has been arrived to his ashram, and he didn't welcome them. And because of this, like not receiving King Parikshit, he felt little upset. And this is all Lord's arrangement, we should understand. Not that Parikshit was so thirsty, so he did an act. He sees that Shamik Rishi was not responding to him, then he took a dead snake and he put garlanded. Since Shamik Rishi doesn't invited him or welcomed him and put it a garland to him, offered a garland. So what he did, King Parikshit, let me offer a garland, he put a dead snake on a Shamik Rishi. And Shamik Rishi is completely in meditation. He didn't notice that also. That when King Parikshit came and put a garland, dead snake, and went off. If you see, Parikshit Maharaj was, when he was in the womb of Uttara, he has been Abhimanyu, I guess.
Father.
Not father, like who shot a Brahmastra?
Ashwathama.
Ashwathama, sorry. So Ashwathama, he shot a arrow of Brahmastra to kill Parikshit in the womb. So Parikshit was being, Uttara is praying to Krishna to save his son. So Krishna went to womb and he protected the Parikshit. And Parikshit had a darshan of Lord Krishna within the womb. And when he comes out from the womb, he was searching for Krishna. So only he got the name Parikshit. And when Brahmastra is such a powerful, like it emanates lot of heat. And while Krishna was protecting, even Parikshit has felt that heat in the womb. But since Krishna has protected and subdued that, Arjuna subdued that Brahmastra, but Parikshit was feeling that heat of Brahmastra. So the one who has what we call experienced the heat of a Brahmastra, for him this thirst is not a big thing to tolerate. But it's all Lord's desire, Lord's act. So in that way, like Parikshit has did that act, so that Shamik Rishi, who is a 5 years old boy, saw this and felt that they have insulted my father, and he cursed without any thinking, and he cursed, saying that he will be being beaten by a Takshaka within the 7 days. There, like a whole Bhavatam comes. Bhavatam starts with hunting. So in this way, like we can see, like there are so many pastimes where in the Bhavatam and in the Puranas we see, like a lot of so many kings going for hunting, but they don't do hunting, Prabhupada says here, for the sense gratification. So it is said, Kshatriya kings are sometimes advised to go to the forest to hunt ferocious animals just to learn how to kill, but such foray are never meant for sense gratification. They are not going for hunting for their sense gratification. Rather, it is forbidden. Further, Prabhupada says, killing animal to eat for their flesh is forbidden for human beings. Human beings are not supposed to eat meat. It is forbidden. But Shastras recommend for the sacrifice. But animal sacrifice has a different meaning, different procedure altogether. Where nowadays people are not at all qualified to kill animals in a sacrifice. Yesterday we were hearing how a village people gather together after 3 years and they give a sacrifice of an animal with their teeth, not using any knife or any weapon. Yesterday we have heard that Kartikeya Prabhu was thinking that not to waste even a one drop of blood in the sacrifice. But altogether, that sacrifice is not for the God or for whom they are giving, but their own sense gratification. But that act is forbidden here. It is clearly mentioned. Killing animals to eat their flesh is forbidden for the human beings. But olden days they used to do sacrifice. How they used to do sacrifice, we should understand first. Sacrifice they used to do, Brahmanas, they used to sacrifice horses, sometimes cows. The animal is brought to the sacrificial place, and with the power of Brahmanas, mantras, they chant and they take out the soul from the old body. By the way, they get those old animals only. They will not get young babies or like newborn animals. They get very old animals and they take out with their power of mantra, they take out the soul and they sacrifice only the body, and that soul is given a new body, which new body comes out of the sacrificial arena, fire. Sometimes they give a human body to that soul also from the sacrifice, because that animal has brought here for the higher purpose. So sometimes they give a human body also. That powerful are the sacrifice what Brahmanas used to do. But now, not only the Brahmanas, when we went to Ahobilam, Chenchalakshmi got married to Narasimha Dev. And Chenchalakshmi is what we call, they are tribals of that place. And tribals, they generally go for hunting for their own belly and they eat. So now also that tradition is going on, but this is not recommended in the Shastras, because Chenchalakshmi, she is the incarnation of Lakshmi herself. So even though she born in tribal, but she doesn't be considered as a tribal. But these people, they don't recommend, nowhere Shastra has recommended like to offer meat to the Lord Narasimha. But what they do, I used to ask, I asked when we went for Yatra, I asked that person who is giving a tickets entry, I asked from where they get their animals and where they used to do sacrifice. He said they get from their own place. We don't sell here, no one sells here in the forest or in this place, in this holy dam. They get from their own place, they carry them, and they don't sacrifice in front of the Lord. They have to do outside somewhere in the jungle, in the forest. And they have to they take the names of the Lord and they just they cut them and they cook and they eat. I asked but that is not offered to the Lord. Who will accept? We don't allow that food inside also in the temple. I asked but people are around here, they are cooking. That is allowed, but they are not supposed to come inside. Brought that meat inside and offered to the Lord. But whole purpose you can see, like as a brahmanas who are there, who are doing that puja, taking care of Lord every day, it is not recommended that to offer a meat to the Lord since Lord has married a tribal girl. It is not there in the Shastras. So only they are not allowing those things to be done inside the temple. That is recommended to do outside, and you cook, you eat, and you die. For your own pleasure, you eat and you die. But it is not recommended to come and offered. It is not offered means it is not also prasad, and they are eating only karma food. The food which is not offered to the Lord Hari, they are eating only the sin. They are not even eating the food, they are eating only the sin. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says. So in this way, Prabhupada says killing animals to eat their flesh is forbidden for the human beings. Rather, Prabhupada says we have such a wonderful other items which are more tastier than this kind of abominable. I always used to wonder, they put outside this selling shops, meat selling shops, they write there fresh meat. I also used to wonder how come it is a fresh. It is killed, it is being kept in a freezer for so many days, and how come it is a fresh? And they are foolish people. They are they are learners. They have some education qualification, but they don't think. They feel like this is fresh meat. Let me eat. What you are eating? Dead fresh meat. Dead fresh meat. If you want to eat fresh meat, you should go to China and see the plates of the China people where freshly removing animals you can see in the plate and they eat it. That is fresh meat eating. People are so bad, so degraded, I can say. So it is not all recommended. Prabhupada's view, hunting is, which is to safeguard the sages, kings used to hunt, and not for their sense gratification or for their pleasure they go. Even though if you see, when Arjuna, before the Sayamvara, they have been given a challenge to hit a fish seeing the water, seeing the mirror of the water, mirror image of the water, and they used to hit the eye of the fish. That is being kept as a criteria for the Draupadi to select a right candidate as a husband. Not that he has a skill, he can kill the animals and they can enjoy. It's not like that. Even like in some of the kings, they used to fight with ferocious animal without weapon. There is a ground where people all used to sit, and king used to enter in that place arena, and they will be releasing a mad animal, a mad elephant into the ground, and kings used to subdue them, right? And nowadays we can see this bull kind of game where a mad bull is being released, and people used to have fun with that. That became a game now. But actually that kind of thing is introduced to subdue the anger of a bull. That's all. Pride of a bull. The bull which is very pride, it never listens to anyone. But a person who is very powerful, if he subdues, then that bull can be used in the right way. In that sense, that is being introduced. But we see they have a lot of games out of this. That is not a right way of having a sense gratification with the animals. So this I would like to pause here. So, any questions or comments or reflections?
So this aspect of sense gratification, no amount of sense gratification can satisfy us. Only Krishna consciousness can satisfy us. It's a very nice point. So in the material world, people try various different ways of sense gratification, but ultimately they are not satisfied. They just simply want more and more, and they don't reach their satisfaction. That's one point I like very much. And this one, just want to clarify, the 7 rounds of circumambulation means that they take over for 7
Life,
lives.
yes. To be together.
Why don't devotees don't circumambulate like that?
No, it is there for devotees also.
7 lifetimes कैसा promise देंगे?
That we don't know, but then they also can be like.
No, when they are chased, they can be like continuing their life for 7.
But they want to go back to Godhead, no?
There also they will be together and serve the Lord. I heard like in the Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan, there are no brahmacharya ashrams. They are all supposed to get married, and they both, even though they are married with a very beautiful wife, still they are attached. They will be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord.
And this aspect of Ashwatthama, releasing Brahmastra, and it is Krishna only handling the Brahmastra. So there are 2 Brahmastras, one is handled by Arjuna, the other one he couldn't even have this understanding that he is there. So that was handled by Krishna himself. And another aspect is Ajamal's, this one is after he got the second chance. I'm not sure he went back home, took care of his family or anything like that. So mostly like I was just reading through, mostly he like renounced, and he was
Going to all
pilgrim places, and then in Haridwar he was there,
Haridwar.
and then there he left the body, and there again he was actually searching for the Vishnu Dutas, and again he saw the Vishnu Dutas, and then he gave up his body and he left.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की।
Jai.